Hello, you're back with the Jacksonville History Show. I'm Emily Rutherford-Liska, Executive Director of the Jacksonville Historical Society, and in this segment I have the chair of Paint the Region. Angela Bailey is with us, and Angela is chairing, I think, one of the most exciting and innovative events I've heard of in quite some time in North Florida. This is an event that offers just something for everybody who loves the cultural scene. Artists from North Florida also offers an outdoor experience for your family, and additionally offers the opportunity to save some beautiful lands for the future of our history and our preservation, environmental preservation efforts in North Florida. So Angela, welcome to the program, and thank you for taking on a job that is just enormous. And congratulations for running this great program, Paint the Region.
Thank you so much. Painting the Region, the Bartram Trail, is a 6-day art event that will focus on the beauty, the natural scenery, and the history of the Bartram and Scenic Highway. Bartram Scenic and Historic Highway, excuse me. The Bartram Scenic and Historic Highway starts at the Julington Creek Bridge, and it goes down presently 17.5 miles to Elkton.
A beautiful drive.
It is, and it has the communities that are now called St. John's to the east of State Road 13, Fruit Cove to the west of State Road 13. Those are the northwestern villages of St. Johns County, and then the village of Switzerland. And we are not including this year Orangedale, but the Bartram Scenic Highway goes all the way to Elkton. And it encompasses the area where John and William Bartram visited in the 1760s and the 1770s.
And in doing so, they would end up igniting a love for Florida, a century before other writers came along to ignite the nation about this place, Florida.
Exactly, and William and John Bartram were both artists. John Bartram was America's first botanist. He had the favor of a number of dukes and royalty and the King of England.
I think King George II appointed him.
Yes.
Before we tore down that statue of King George III.
Yes,
I think.
And he had the ability through a 50-pound commission from the King of England to tour Florida and to tour the southern states. So in 1765, John and William Bartram set off to explore the uncharted territory where mostly Native Americans lived and some settlers.
So a real father-son adventure.
Yes.
And this father would make quite an impression on his son because the son would continue to visit Florida.
Growing up in Philadelphia, William Bartram saw his father being this great explorer, and I became inspired when I first started working with the North Florida Land Trust to preserve some of my Julington Creek front property, to get involved in a project, Painting the Region, the Bartram Trail, that would bring 46 artists ultimately to paint October 6th through 10th at 4 locations along the Bartram Scenic Highway.
And these are all Florida artists, aren't they?
Yes.
They're amazing. And they're pretty much all painting fabulous Florida scenes, North Florida scenes, pretty much. And you're going to show these now, and you're going to talk about these scenes or the artists as the scenes showed for the viewers. The
46 artists we selected were juried in, and this is an example of their work. St. Augustine artists are involved, 15 of them. And this artist is from Green Cove Springs, but this is a plein air painting. This is another plein air painting. This artist is working off of Joe Ashton Road at a farm called The Pond, and the painting is called Dock on the Pond. This artist,
and they can't see that right now, so maybe we'll go ahead and scroll through a little.
Go through more of the paintings.
Okay.
The artist involved.
Oh, you can go a little slower. That's a beautiful one.
Each submitted 3 works of art, which we then juried in, and I made a selection for the purpose of our website and the slideshow. So this is an artist painting the typical Fruit Cove, Julington Creek landscape.
Absolutely.
And they're painting outdoors, plein air painting. The type of event,
what does that mean?
It's all outdoors. Plein air
means outdoors.
Plein air was the custom developed by the Impressionists to work outdoors, breaking with the academic tradition where they would work in the studio. So we have 46 artists from around the state of Florida.
Show another.
I'm going to go ahead.
Oh, beautiful.
Now this is the building at Alpine Groves where we will be displaying the artwork. It's an 1880s farmhouse, and the 4 parks or park-like settings that we're showcasing along the Bartram Scenic and Historic Highway in Fruit Cove in Switzerland, all have their own unique history. So I came today to talk with you about the history of the Bartrams, how they were part of our region, and how these contemporary artists are going to interpret that.
And people visiting this event on October 10th are going to hear a lot about the Bartrams and the actual environmental issues for the region. And as we were looking at some of those, just tell me a little bit more about how a person finds these events. One part of it's at a county park, and tell how do they find that county park? The name again?
Alpine Groves County Park is a St. Johns County, a fairly new park in the St. Johns County Parks and Recreation Division. And we've had a great deal of help from that department, particularly Beverly Fleming, who's assigned to Trout Creek Park and provides a lot of senior art programs there, among many other services. She is, whereas I am not, pretty much an expert on William Bartram, because she and people like my mother, Sarah Bailey, and a large group of citizens have worked for decades on the Bartram Scenic and Historic Highway corridor study, working with the Department of Transportation. And the eventual thing will be a visitor center sited in Switzerland, opposite the entrance to this new park, Alpine Groves. It's probably 2 or 3 years old when I say new. It was new to me. And it was purchased with Florida Communities Trust monies, which is from the state level. So it's very welcomed in the community. People love going there. It's located at 2060 State Road 13. It's about a quarter mile south of the border of Fruit Cove in Switzerland, which is indicated by the big signs.
And if people come there and end up supporting this event, eventually what is hoped by the North Florida Land Trust, I hope I'm saying that name exactly right, and the St. John's Cultural Council, it is hoped that a North Guana Preserve will be a possibility.
Yes, the purpose of our fundraiser is to initiate or launch a fundraising campaign to acquire the old Orr House restaurant property on Michler Road, which is very close to the intersection of Michler Road and A1A. The Land Trust owns 40 acres on the northeast corner already, 40 acres on the Guana River. The Land Trust holds conservation easements and in some rare cases owns property that has been preserved through private citizens' involvement with a land trust.
But in the meantime, this is just going to be a wonderful, old-fashioned, and very artistic weekend of this October 10th event, because you bring the family out. They're going to be reenactors. You get to watch the artists create and perhaps help support the event. Tell us a little bit about what people can expect to see and hear about the Bartrams, because I know you are becoming quite the devotee of William Bartram. And let's talk about that a little bit.
We will have a William Bartram reenactor at around 3 o'clock to help with our full day of family activities.
And he'll be at the Alpine Park?
And he'll be at Alpine Groves on the main stage where the most of the activity will be.
This is a free event?
Yes, it's a free event. And we have what are called the Teacup Ladies, and they will be representing the era of the 1880s.
They're wonderful. I've seen them before, yes.
Post-Civil War Reconstruction era. There will be genteel ladies in the kind of costumes that would have been the typical dress of the 1880s to 1900 era. There's an 1880s building at Alpine Groves, the White House, that is going to be where the art is exhibited. The artists paint each day, and as they finish, their work goes into a wet room, and spectators can view the artist painting at different sites, become interested in a particular work of art that they might wish to acquire, and interact with people, staff in the wet rooms. Later, the works will all be brought to Alpine Groves, and by Saturday, we will have our full exhibition of paintings. The artists will have gone over around the 4 locations throughout the week, so there'll be a large variety of painted scenes. The other activities at Alpine Groves will be refreshments for sale, activities for kids, including an author wrote a book about William Bartram growing up with his dad and learning to draw leaves. So we hope to
show that.
Work on. This artist is the author of this book, William Bartram, the Flower Hunter, America's first naturalist. She illustrated this herself and told the story of William Bartram and how his dad inspired him and how much he wanted to go out as a young boy to, it's a very light reproduction.
I hate to interrupt you, but we are out of time, so we're just going to remind people, This is October 10th, Paint the Region. And how can people find you on a website, perhaps?
We are at paintingtheregion.com, and we have a very nice website with all the artist work illustrated and all the events listed, all the times. And we very much look forward to you joining us and learning more about William and John Bartram and their visits to Fruit Cove in Switzerland in the 1760 and 1770 era.
Angela, thank you so much for being our guest.
Thank you, Emily.
Oh, you're welcome. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Jerry Spinks, President of the Jacksonville Historical Society.
The opportunity to become a part of Jacksonville history. Call 665-0064. Visit jackshistory.com and become a member of the Jacksonville Historical Society, celebrating 80 years serving our community.